Hello and welcome. Today, author R.T. Kegel shares another inspiring story from the Bedtime Stories with Heart and Soul series, written to help you slow down, reflect, and end the day with a little more peace. Now, here's the author.
Hello, my name is author R.T. Kegels. Today's story is called High IQ. So, let's get started. It all began with a stray advertisement at the bottom of a late-night forum about psychology and human potential. The ad, sandwiched between bizarre diet plans and questionable dating advice, had an absurdly simple message. High IQ, can I buy some more? It was an odd question. Who would sell intelligence? And could anyone actually buy it? Intrigued, 17-year-old Ellie clicked on it, half expecting a scam and fully prepared to laugh it off. But to her surprise, it took her to a sleek website with an elegant, minimalist design and an extensive FAQ page explaining, in a strangely credible tone, how they enhanced IQ through non-traditional methods. Ellie, who already prided herself on her above-average intelligence, felt something stir inside her. Curiosity. She was a perfectionist who loved being good at everything. And while she didn't really need to be smarter, it was a tantalizing concept. Could intelligence be purchased like a new phone upgrade? Her finger hovered over the Learn More button before she clicked. In moments, she was filling out forms, sharing her GPA, taking a few quick IQ tests. Finally, a large button blinked at her on the screen. Congratulations, Ellie! You've been accepted! Would you like to purchase an upgrade? She thought about it for a moment. What was the harm? She had money saved from her weekend job. With her parents fast asleep and nothing stopping her, she made the decision. She clicked Buy Now, and a message popped up. Your IQ upgrade will be delivered tomorrow morning. Please follow the instructions carefully. She closed her laptop, feeling an odd mix of excitement and trepidation. As she drifted off to sleep, she imagined what it would be like to ace every test, understand complex theories without effort, and maybe even graduate high school early. The next morning, a small, unmarked box sat on her front porch, nestled against the welcome mat. She snatched it up and bolted to her room. Inside, there was only a tiny vial filled with a shimmering blue liquid, and a note that read, "Welcome, Ellie. Drink this and allow yourself to relax. Intelligence, after all, starts with clarity of mind." She looked at the liquid skeptically. It wasn't like the site explained what exactly was in this vial, but she shrugged off her worries. She tipped the vial back and drank. At first, she didn't feel anything. She went about her morning, eating breakfast and mentally going over the answers to yesterday's chemistry exam. But an hour later, she felt her mind sharpen, like tuning a blurry TV channel into high definition. She could remember things with vivid clarity, details she'd never noticed before, even things that had happened years ago. At school, she felt like a superhero. Math problems she usually struggled with solved themselves before she'd even finished reading them. In English class, the layers of meaning in every story leapt out at her, and she could see connections between texts that she'd barely understood before. It was like her mind was operating on a whole new level. Her teachers noticed too, remarking on her insightful answers and asking if she'd been studying extra. Ellie just smiled. For the first week, everything was perfect. She aced every quiz, blew through every homework assignment, and even gained a quiet confidence she'd never felt before. But as the days passed, she began to feel different. One afternoon, Ellie found herself sitting in the library with a few friends, explaining a complex concept from her history class. She noticed their expressions, some curious, others bored, and a few bewildered. But she was far too engrossed in her explanation to stop. As she continued, her friend Jasmine interrupted. "Ellie, we get it. I mean, sort of. But do you have to use all those big words?" Ellie blinked, suddenly aware of how alienating her newfound intelligence had become. Her friends didn't understand her the way they used to, and casual conversations seemed trivial now. She'd been so caught up in her quest for intelligence that she hadn't considered the cost. What good was being brilliant if no one wanted to be around her? The next day, she decided to contact the website. She logged in and found a customer support page. An AI chatbot popped up immediately. "Hello, Ellie. How can we assist with your IQ upgrade?" Ellie typed in her question quickly. "I think I'd like to downgrade. I'm feeling too different." The chatbot responded, "We're sorry, but the IQ upgrade is permanent. However, we recommend that you focus on using your abilities to connect with others." Ellie stared at the screen, horrified. She hadn't thought about the permanence of it, and now that it was hers forever, she wasn't sure she wanted it anymore. She tried to reach customer service, hoping a real person would respond, but it was clear there was no way back. Days turned into weeks, and Ellie's sense of isolation deepened. She tried to connect with her friends, but her attempts came across as forced. She began spending more time alone, reading advanced textbooks, watching documentaries, and even trying her hand at learning a new language. Despite her self-imposed solitude, Ellie felt empty. What good was knowledge without joy? She missed laughing with her friends and having conversations that didn't feel like lectures. Then, on a quiet Saturday morning, Ellie met someone who would change everything. She was browsing through her local library's shelves when she bumped into a girl around her age. They exchanged polite smiles, and the girl glanced at the thick philosophy book in Ellie's hand. "You like Nietzsche?" she asked, her tone light, but her eyes genuinely curious. Ellie nodded, cautiously excited by the shared interest. "Yeah, he's one of my favorites. There's something about his perspective that feels honest." The girl, whose name was Ruth, grinned. "Tell me about it. It's like he's not afraid to point out the tough truths." Over the next hour, they talked about books, philosophy, and life. It was the first time since her upgrade that Ellie felt like someone truly understood her. Ruth wasn't daunted by her intelligence. Instead, she was curious, always eager to dive deeper into each idea. As they became friends, Ellie learned that Ruth wasn't exceptionally book-smart or a top student, but she had a way of thinking that was unguarded and creative. Ruth taught Ellie that intelligence wasn't just about knowing things. It was also about understanding people, the world, and herself. With Ruth's encouragement, Ellie began approaching her intelligence with a new mindset. She joined a local mentorship program where she could help younger students, sharing her knowledge in a way that was empowering, not intimidating. As she grew more comfortable, Ellie found that her friends began gravitating back to her. Her new intelligence, which had once felt like a burden, was now something she used carefully, to build others up instead of creating distance. One day, Ruth jokingly asked, "Hey, do you think that website sells downgrades? I could use one to handle math class." Ellie laughed, grateful for the reminder of how far she'd come. "Honestly, I think it's about learning to use what you've got in the best way possible." From that day forward, she used her intelligence to fuel not only her own ambitions, but also to inspire and help others. She'd once thought that buying intelligence would make her life perfect. But she realized now that true wisdom came from knowing when to share and when to listen. And so, Ellie didn't need to buy more IQ points or downgrade her intelligence. She'd found something better: balance, purpose, and the understanding that intelligence alone wasn't what made her special. It was her kindness, her curiosity, her ability to help others, and her willingness to grow. Thank you for joining me.
Hello again. As we come to a close, remember to like, subscribe, and follow us so you don't miss a single adventure. Thank you for spending this heartfelt moment with us. Until next time, we hope this story brought you a little peace as the day comes to a close.